What's going on, beautiful people? And welcome back to another comic book review video. I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so that you will never miss out on an upload, and that you will always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. And today, folks, we are covering Marvel's Dark Ages, issue number 2. Written by the glorious Tom Taylor. And if you guys haven't been keeping up with the series, then definitely check out the playlist within this video's description. It will help catch everyone up with what's been happening in Marvel's Dark Ages. Now, where we last left off, it's been years since the age of technology ended, and now Earth's heroes attempt to bring humanity together, and among the darkness, X-Men and Avengers, vigilantes and villains, all working together to create something better, but something darker than the night is descending upon the world. Our post-apocalyptic world is about to face apocalypse. And without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Alrighty folks, so our story picks up with Spider-Man giving us some narration, and he lets us know that when the world went dark, all hell broke loose. With people scared and people grieving, their fears and pain turned into anger. And through their anger, wars were fought, over borders, over resources, over ideologies. It was pure chaos. And in between the initial earthquakes, due to the loss of power, along with all these wars that were going on, billions of people were lost. But amongst the chaos, there was a voice that called out to the world, but not just one voice, rather many voices, letting everyone know that it didn't have to be this way. Voices made up of a wide variety of individuals, everyone from Jean Grey to Black Panther, saying that it doesn't have to be this way. With the world in chaos, the mutants took this as an opportunity to step up, working together alongside the Avengers and anybody else who was left, to bring some kind of balance, to bring some kind of peace to this planet. For they all took this opportunity to create something better. Because with having no power and a smaller population, this meant that the Earth started to flourish again, with no deforestation, with no pollution, or at the very least, very minimal population. People banded together, and they created these tiny super cities. And within each of these cities, they were all linked together by powerful telepaths. And of course, the individual leading the telepaths is none other than Xavier himself. And although the world may be divided, they are still connected. And through these connections, by opening their minds up to one another, they can create a new society, a better world, a more thriving one. Alas, the capital of all these cities is none other than Wakanda. And inside the heart of Wakanda, we have the best minds that have been gathered together. These minds collectively are all connected by using Jean Grey. And we're seeing a little bit of everyone here, from Dr. Doom to Tony Stark. Whatever the brightest minds that are left on the planet, they brought them here, trying to come up with new ways of innovation, new power sources, new avenues to be able to help the society continue to thrive. And so far from all the perspectives, it looks like this new society, this post-apocalyptic world, isn't that bad. That is until you go outside the gates, and the way that they protect their land, the way they protect these cities, or at least Wakanda specifically, because it's through here, thanks to Spider-Man's webs, as he goes around and he creates webs all around the perimeter. This is a first line detection, the first line defense. And who better to have monitoring all these webs, keeping tabs on the vibrations, than freaking Daredevil, which is awesome. Now, with Daredevil being tasked with finding out exactly the location as to where they're going to have intruders, we see some werewolves break through the lines, alongside some vampires. And with Daredevil giving the location, they honestly feel bad for the werewolves and vampires that are going to be attacking. And that's because they are running into Blade and his entire team. And these guys have one thing in mind, to hunt the things in the night. So with Blade and his team making quick work of all these monsters in the night, this is where we pick up with Tony Stark, picking up inside of Tony Stark's little cave. He's sitting there trying to create things to the best of his ability, due to having no electricity and no technology. And because of that, he's very limited in what he can do. But as he and Pepper are sitting there having a conversation, a vampire strolls into the front entrance. But they need not worry, folks, because right behind that vampire, we see the one and only Captain America coming in and decapitating this vampire. And this is a very pleasant surprise for Tony Stark. That is because they haven't seen Captain America in quite a few months, many presuming that he might have been dead or that he just wasn't going to come back. Therefore, both Pepper and Tony are filled with relief. and he lets Tony Stark know that he has been in Europe, and right now it's currently ruled by an Iron Fist, and that's exactly what he wants to talk to Tony about. And so with Tony and Cap going out for a walk, we see that the years have not been so nice to Tony Stark, with him being an amputee now, with him dreaming about just making inventions, things that can make the world better. But these are all ideas that are stuck inside of his mind, that he can never bring to fruition because of this new world that they live in. But Tony Stark, being perceptive, believes that Captain America is about to ask him to join the war in Europe, or to start a war at least. But Captain America believes that there's got to be another solution. There's got to be another way in tackling this, telling him that there could be a possibility to turn the power back on via using Tony's machines to do exactly what Tony intended them to do. And as Captain America tells him that there's something that he wants to show him, this is where we see Dracula and Apocalypse. With Iron Man not sure as to what's going on, he throws a light grenade, killing a bunch of little vampire minions. However, Dracula manages to grab Tony by the neck, thus leaving Iron Man to beg Captain America to do something. But Captain America is only looking at him, and he tells him no, taking his shield and knocking him out. And it's here where it's quickly revealed that this is not Captain America, rather it's Mystique. And this was all planned to kidnap Tony Stark. With the mission complete, they can teleport themselves back to Europe. And with Iron Man waking up, seeing a giant statue of Apocalypse, we can only assume that the one they are talking about, the one ruling Europe with an iron fist, is Apocalypse. And Apocalypse has brought him here so that Tony could work for Apocalypse. For years, Apocalypse really underestimated not only human ingenuity, but human intelligence, believing that superior intelligence would only be found in mutant kind. But over the years, he has learned that this is not the truth, that in fact these individuals could very well be useful to him, and Apocalypse shows him exactly what he wants him working on. And thus, this is where we see Reed Richards. And would it be a lie to say that Tony Stark is not impressed, being able to build this barrier keeping out the EMP, because up to this point, Tony's tried creating things of this nature, unable to do it using vibranium or using adamantium, using whatever he can get his hands on, and everything has failed up to this point, because the reality is that you would need an actual magnet, or someone as equally as powerful to repel that EMP. But Apocalypse doesn't have something. Apocalypse has someone, and that someone is none other than Magneto. And with Tony Stark realizing everything that is going on, we see Kilgrave walking over to Tony Stark. And here, Apocalypse tells Kilgrave to take over his mind. As Apocalypse begins to walk away, he lets us know that he has touched the mind of a being more powerful than a god and more powerful than an earth. Basically, Apocalypse wants his power. He wants to wake up the Unmaker. And that, folks, was Dark Ages, issue number 2. Tom Taylor is a master of dystopian comic book storytelling. With stories like Injustice and DCeased for DC, he's shown that the heroes we know have either fallen from the good of the people or are just struggling to survive. He takes the characters we know and he puts them against impossible odds. Dark Ages might be the boldest story coming out of the big two right now. And sure, the fact that, Tom Taylor and Ivan Coley's story doesn't seem to be within canon, that definitely helps. But it's also the incredible choices already made in the first issue that get us here. And sure, we have experimented with various realities over the years, but this one is a little bit different. Dark Ages issue number 2 is a fantastic second issue. For this issue gives us the conflict to come, while also going over the history that was. It's such a solid story that it's not one to be missed, and it feels already like a classic. A-listers from both sides of good and evil are all brought together to survive. And I especially loved Wakanda being the new capital of the world, and how telepaths such as Jean Grey and Professor X are mentally linking everyone together. Lastly, Apocalypse. Let's just say, I enjoyed this version of him more than the Krakoa era. He's in true form here, as a pure case stating survival of the fittest, a maniac that we are all used to. This comic is full of small details that make it all feel lived in, and more real in so many ways. Alarm systems and how the heroes and villains use their powers to keep these going are as interesting, and there are just so many ideas mapped across all around the works. Those small details, really help out and add depth to the comic story, and whilst adding the enjoyment as to how we see the world that this comic has adopted. Some of that detail is due to Ivan Colo's art. There are so many visual cues as to what has happened, that and the survivors have changed, along with the colors by Brian Reber and the lettering by Joe Sabino. The combination of the trio gives a comic that feels a little bit grimy, but in a way you would expect in a world without technology. There's a bit of dirtiness about it, and all that adds to the realism, and it just sucks the reader right in. The designs stand out though. The changes are fantastic, blending classic superhero looks with almost steampunk flair about it. It never quite crosses over into one genre. Instead, it feels like a whole mesh of genres cobbled together, like this is what's gonna happen if the entire world just shut off. So yeah, I 100% recommend anyone in the comic book world interested in reading something new to definitely read this comic. You will not be disappointed. Marvel's Dark Ages issue number 2 gets a sexy 9.5 out of 10. And guys, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button in order to show your support to the channel. And tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 3? Let me know in the comment section down below. And until the next video, peace.